Ever catch yourself pulling out your phone to pay for something and wonder, like, is this it?
Yeah.
Is cash going the way of the dinosaurs? Like,
Yeah.
are we going to be telling our grandkids about,
Right.
the good old days?
The crumpled to dollar bills.
Exactly. Well, get ready to dive deep into the future of money because today
It's their money.
we're exploring a world where dollar bills might just become vintage collectibles.
I like that. Yeah.
Right. Like little collector's items.
Yeah.
So our guide for this journey is economist Richard Holden
Okay.
and his book Money in the 21st Century.
Okay.
And he breaks this really complex topic
Yeah.
down into these like 3 digestible chunks:
Yeah.
cheap money, mobile money, and digital money,
Okay.
which all seem like kind of the same thing when you first hear them.
Right.
But trust me, by the end of this, you'll be able to impress your friends with all your knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you don't spend your weekends poring over
Right.
financial reports, no judgment.
No.
These shifts affect all of us.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. How we
Absolutely.
earn, spend, save,
Yeah.
even how we think about wealth itself.
Right.
It's all being reshaped right under our noses.
It's true. And Holden makes this really compelling argument
Okay.
that a cashless society is practically inevitable.
Yeah.
And he tells this hilarious anecdote about this skeptical caller on this radio show who asked what happens when disaster strikes.
Yeah.
No power, no digital payments. How do I buy anything?
Right.
And Holden's response,
Yeah.
if there's a tsunami, you're probably not going out for coffee, right?
I admit I chuckled at that one.
Right.
But he raises a valid point.
He does.
Look, we can't just yank the rug out from under people who rely on cash.
Of course.
We need a well thought out transition.
Right.
But let's be honest.
Yeah.
Digital payments just make life easier.
They do.
They're faster, more convenient, and arguably even safer than carrying around wads of cash.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about the privacy factor?
Right.
I mean, I'm not exactly thrilled about my bank knowing that I have a weakness
Yeah.
for those like overpriced lattes.
You're hitting on something a lot of people worry about.
Yeah.
Holden uses Sweden as an example.
Okay.
They're pretty much a cashless society already.
Interesting.
But even there,
Yeah.
you have folks like 73-year-old Stefan,
Okay.
who insists on buying his wine with cash.
Really?
Why?
Why?
Because he doesn't want his bank tracking his Cabernet cravings.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good reminder that the move towards a digital world
Right.
comes with trade-offs.
It does.
For sure.
Yeah. And speaking of trade-offs, Holden's story about India's attempt to go cashless
Yes.
back in 2016 is a cautionary tale.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I've ever heard one.
India's heart was in the right place.
Okay.
They wanted to tackle corruption and tax evasion.
Right.
But their method,
Yeesh.
they literally tried to erase 86% of their cash overnight.
Wow.
Pure chaos.
Wow.
Imagine the disruption, especially for the
Oh, yeah.
poorest citizens who relied heavily on cash.
Of course.
It goes to show you, you can't just rip off Band-Aid
Right.
when it comes to money matters.
You got to peel it off slowly.
Exactly.
Yeah. Talk about a financial faceplant.
Right.
I mean, India's experience really highlights
It does.
the importance of getting this transition right.
Yeah.
But Holden's book isn't all doom and gloom.
No.
He also explores some really exciting innovations that, like mobile money.
Yeah. Mobile money is a game changer,
Okay.
especially in developing countries.
Okay.
Take M-Pesa in Kenya.
Okay.
Think of it like a network of human ATMs
Okay.
where people use their mobile phones to access financial services.
Oh, really?
It's wild.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And so
I-
they don't even,
It's huge.
they don't need bank accounts.
They're like sort of piggybacking
Oh.
on the existing system.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
And Holden says that M-Pesa adoption actually led to a 2 percentage point decline in poverty
It's huge.
in Kenya.
Yeah.
That's massive.
It really underscores how technology can revolutionize access to financial services
Wow.
and uplift entire communities.
Yeah.
But even M-Pesa has its limitations.
Okay.
The fees can be high.
Right.
And it's mainly for person-to-person transactions. So like
Right.
for more complex financial stuff, we need to look at things like digital currencies.
Okay. So that brings us to the world of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency,
Right.
which kind of exploded onto the scene in 2008.
Yeah.
It's fascinating that this was right in the middle of
Oh, yeah.
the financial crisis.
Totally.
You know,
Yeah.
the world was,
The timing was perfect.
Yes.
It was amazing.
it was like,
Yeah, yeah.
we're losing faith in
Right.
traditional institutions, they were angry about bailouts, and then boom.
Right.
Satoshi Nakamoto drops the Bitcoin white paper.
Wow.
It was like a beacon of hope for a different way of doing things.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get the appeal.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, the whole Bitcoin thing still makes my head spin a little.
Yeah.
How does it actually work?
It's definitely complex.
Okay.
But at its heart, Bitcoin uses a few key ideas.
Okay.
Digital signatures
Okay.
to confirm transactions.
Okay.
A public record called the blockchain.
Okay.
And proof of work to secure the network.
Okay.
So imagine...
And these are all like new
Yeah.
things that had never existed before.
Brand new.
Okay.
So imagine a massive Sudoku puzzle
Okay.
that everyone's trying to solve simultaneously.
Okay.
Whoever cracks the code gets to add a block of transactions
Wow.
to the blockchain.
Okay.
And everyone agrees it's legit.
Okay.
This is what's called mining.
Right.
And yes, it does use up a lot of energy.
Okay.
A lot of electricity.
Okay. I think I'm starting to get it.
Okay.
So it's decentralized, secure,
Right.
but how practical is it really? Holden tells this story about a journalist trying to buy face masks on Amazon with Bitcoin
Yeah.
and getting slammed with a 10% markup in fees.
Wouch.
Not exactly a bargain.
Not great.
You know what I mean?
No, that gets at one of Bitcoin's biggest weaknesses.
What's that?
It's not exactly user-friendly for everyday transactions.
Right.
It's volatile, it's slow,
Right.
and the fees can be killer.
Yeah.
But, even with those drawbacks,
Yeah.
Bitcoin's underlying technology, blockchain,
Yeah.
really slipped the script.
Okay.
It sparked a wave of innovation in the world of digital currencies.
Interesting.
And even big players like Facebook took notice.
You're talking about Facebook's Libra project,
Exactly.
which later got renamed Diem.
Yeah, they tried to rebrand it.
Yeah.
Didn't really work.
But their goal was to create this global stablecoin.
Right.
Backed by a bunch of assets, but it ultimately flopped.
Yeah,
Totally.
it crashed and burned.
Yeah.
It was a total failure.
Holden says it was basically torpedoed. Yeah. By then, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen,
That's right.
who saw it as this huge threat
Totally.
to the US dollar.
She was not having it.
Yeah. And you know what? I can kind of
Yeah.
see where she's coming from.
I think she had valid concerns.
Yeah.
Would it destabilize the financial system?
Right.
Would Facebook, with its less than stellar track record on privacy,
Right.
be responsible with all that financial data?
Right. Because they're not exactly known
Yeah, they don't have the greatest track record.
for being responsible.
Yeah. And the whole structure of the Libra Association
Right.
seemed designed to give Facebook a lot of control.
Okay.
So it became this tug of war between
Interesting.
the power of big tech
Yeah.
and the power of governments.
Right. Because who gets to
Exactly.
control the money?
Right. Who's in charge here?
Right.
Yeah.
And what happens when other tech giants like Amazon
Oh, boy.
decide to flex their muscles
Right.
in the financial world?
Yeah.
Holden lays out this almost scary scenario where Amazon launches its own currency.
Right.
Can you imagine?
The Amazon, we'll call
The
it.
Amazon.
Yeah.
Right. And then everybody's.
It's not that far-fetched, right?
I mean,
With its massive customer base
it's true.
and the power of AWS,
It's true.
Amazon could incentivize or maybe even pressure
That's true.
buyers and sellers to adopt its currency.
Right.
So we could see a future where Amazon wields as much economic power as some governments.
That's kind of scary.
Yeah, it's a little unnerving.
Okay, so we've got this potential power struggle brewing.
It's a battle royale.
What's the solution?
Right.
How do we make sure we're not all
Yeah. How do we not get crushed?
just pawns
Right.
in this financial chess game?
Well, Holden argues that the key lies in
Okay.
well-designed, publicly backed digital currencies,
Okay.
or GovCoins.
GovCoins.
Central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs,
Oh,
are
cool.
already being explored
So this is,
by over 50 countries around the world.
wow, so this is not like a
This is not science fiction.
pie in the sky idea.
No, this is actually happening.
This is actually happening.
Mhm.
So are GovCoins basically the government's answer to Bitcoin?
You could say that.
Okay.
They tap into the advantages of digital currencies,
Okay.
think speed and efficiency,
Right.
but they're issued and backed by central banks,
Okay.
which brings stability and trust to the table.
So you get the best of both worlds.
Exactly. You get the innovation, but with the stability of
Right.
a known entity.
Known entity.
Holden even proposes a model for a U.S. CBDC
Okay.
called FedCoin.
Hold on, FedCoin.
Yeah.
That sounds oddly familiar.
Catchy, isn't it?
What would make it different from, say, Bitcoin.
Right.
Yeah, Fed coin.
It's got a nice ring to it.
Right.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, what would a government-backed digital currency
Right.
actually look like in practice?
Well, Holden's vision for FedCoin is fascinating.
Okay.
Instead of relying on this sprawling network of computers like Bitcoin,
Right.
it would be tied directly to the Federal Reserve.
Okay.
Imagine digital cash,
Okay.
fully backed by the U.S. government.
Okay. So it's like
Yeah.
taking the dollar and just making it.
Digital.
Yeah.
Digital.
And for you, it would mean
Yeah.
faster transactions,
Okay.
lower fees.
Okay.
Plus, it wouldn't have that roller coaster-like volatility we
Right.
see with Bitcoin.
Right.
Because it's backed by
yeah.
the full faith and credit of
Yeah.
the U.S. government.
The U.S. government.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
But how would this FedCoin affect the whole financial ecosystem?
Yeah, that's a big question.
What about the banks?
That's a key point.
Yeah.
Holden proposes a system where FedCoin works alongside traditional banks, not in competition with them.
Oh, okay.
So think of it like this. The Fed would handle the big picture stuff,
Okay.
stability, security,
Okay.
while your local bank would continue to offer
Right.
day-to-day services tailored to you. So they're not trying to
They're not trying to put banks out of business.
okay,
They're trying to supplement them.
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Of course, this brings up a whole new set of questions.
Of course.
How would this impact things like monetary policy,
Right.
privacy, the role of commercial banks?
Right.
Yes,
What
right.
happens to the whole
So-
system?
Yeah.
Oh.
Buckle up, because this is where things get really interesting.
Okay, so we've gone from the origins of money
Yeah,
to the potential for
Yeah.
a future shaped by digital currencies.
it's a wild ride.
It's a lot to wrap our heads around.
It is.
But before we get lost in the weeds of FedCoin
Right,
and digital Sudoku puzzles,
right.
let's zoom out for a second.
Yeah.
What does all of this mean for the balance of power
Yeah,
on the global stage?
it's a huge question.
We're talking about the future of money, after all,
Exactly.
not just new ways to pay for pizza.
You're spot on.
Holden argues that the country that cracks the code
Okay.
on the future of money will hold immense power.
Wow.
Right now, the US dollar is king.
Okay.
It's the world's reserve currency.
Okay.
But that dominance is being challenged.
You're not suggesting a world where we're all trading
No,
in euros or yen, are you?
not quite. But
Mhm.
remember, China's digital yuan,
Right.
as this technology evolves,
Yeah.
we could see a shift where the digital yuan
Okay.
or a well-designed CBDC from another major player
Yeah.
starts chipping away at the dollar's dominance.
Wow.
And this isn't just an economic issue.
Right.
It has huge geopolitical ramifications.
Like if another currency
Yeah, it changes everything.
becomes the world's reserve currency.
It changes the whole balance of power.
That's a big deal.
huge.
Okay, so there's a lot at stake here.
A lot on the line.
But let's bring it back to something a
Uh-oh.
little closer to home.
Right.
Holden talks about the potential for digital currencies to promote financial inclusion.
Oh, absolutely.
How would that actually work?
Imagine a world where everyone,
Okay.
even in remote villages
Yeah,
or underserved communities,
right.
has access to secure and affordable financial services
Okay.
through their phones.
That's through their phones.
Think about the possibilities
Wow.
for entrepreneurship,
Mm-hmm.
for savings,
Yeah.
for breaking cycles of poverty.
It's giving people access.
I've never had it before.
It's about empowering people
Yeah.
who've been excluded from the
Right.
traditional financial system.
That's really powerful.
That's the promise of financial inclusion.
Okay.
And it's something that thinkers like Vitalik Buterin, the
Mhm.
mind behind Ethereum,
Okay.
and Raghuram Rajan, a leading economist,
Okay.
have been advocating for.
So this is something that,
It's a big idea
yeah,
with a lot of support.
a lot of people thinking about it.
Absolutely.
It's easy to get caught up
It is.
in the technical jargon,
And geopolitical maneuvering.
all the complexities.
But at the end of the day, it's about
Well,
people. Right.
It's about making sure this technology empowers individuals,
Right.
not just institutions.
Not just the people in power.
Exactly.
Wow.
And that brings us to a question
Okay.
for you to ponder as we wrap up this deep dive.
Yep.
In a world where money is rapidly evolving,
Yeah.
what does it mean to be financially well-informed?
That's a great question.
Yeah, what steps can you take
Yeah.
to navigate this changing landscape
Right.
and make sure you're prepared
Yeah.
for whatever the future holds?
This has been a real eye-opener.
It's been a fascinating journey.
We've covered everything from the inevitable march towards a cashless society to the rise of mobile money, the wild world of crypto,
It's a lot.
the potential of CBDCs, and even the future of global power dynamics.
The future of money is the future of power.
Ooh, I think we've earned ourselves a coffee break.
I could go for a coffee.
Hopefully with a reliable internet connection so we can pay for it digitally.
Exactly. Let's hope those digital payment systems are up and running.
Of course.
Right.
All right, well, this has been fascinating.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.